So, hearing about Uncle Nearest and seeing a lot of people react and saying, like, oh, this is racism, this is just people trying to keep black people down. Absolutely not. This is poor business practices, okay? A lot of times when people go into business, a lot of entrepreneurs don't actually sit with long-term investment. Okay, the can this business be something that is in continuity, right? So when you think about a whiskey brand, whiskey is very niche. Okay, that means that not a lot of people drink whiskey. People who do typically drink whiskey, they are willing to pay more for it, and there is definitely a market for those whiskey lovers. But by and large, people are not typically ordering whiskey, okay, on demand, right? And so when things fluctuate like inflation and consumer lifestyle changes, like a lot of people today are really embracing sobriety, businesses such as like alcohol businesses and more specifically a niche business like whiskey is going to suffer, right? Especially if they do not have not been doing their due diligence and really saving with their assets and things like that to liquidate some of that debt. Now let me just also say this too, as a finance queen, okay? They took out way too much for that business, right? I don't know. I think they were saying the business was grossing 2 billion, but you also have to take in consideration things like overhead, and then you also want to be honest. A lot of entrepreneurs take a really big cut of that money that really needs to be going back into the business, or at least save for a rainy day. Okay, so when you go into business and you have these type of very niche type businesses like whiskey, their financial CFO, whoever it was at the time, should have told them, hey, listen, you don't need millions of dollars to start this business. You know what I mean? Like, this is a very niche brand. So they essentially took out too much and they weren't able to really get that back in revenue. And that's what you're seeing today, right? And so for all of, the founders' videos, like, they're not going to take us down. Well, it's not really about nobody taking you down. It's a matter of like you not paying your debts. You know what I mean? Like, you owe people. You know what I mean? And so it's really unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's poor business practices. And I think, like I said, it takes a really good financial officer or whoever is in charge of their financial department. It's not even just an accountant at this point. You're talking about some type of analyst who can really see the trajectory of a business. And I think with whiskey, it just comes, great risk, right? And so it's a bit of a luxury. It's a luxury niche, right? So as people are kind of like scaling back, they're not buying high price whiskey. You know what I mean? And so there you have it. On top of that, it being black owned, that's another thing you kind of have to take into consideration. There are some historians, there are some people who may be more fluent in black studies, but a lot of times people ain't really vying for the black owned brands. And I could do a part two. Let me know if you guys want me to.